Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard the M48 Pattern 3 in a realistic gameplay here on Normandy, or rather the fields of Normandy. But it's not so much about the tank, as we'll see in a moment. So this match was rather nice, and I wanted to show it to you. So, the M48 Pattern 3. Um, yeah, I did a video previously about this tank, and I have to say, the summary is it's all about the heat shell. Not just about the heat shell, but the heat shell gives you so many options compared to the first two shells you can get your hands on, or the first three shells, let's put it that way. And I have to say, again, if I wouldn't have, spent Golden Eagles to get the heat shell, I probably wouldn't, take it. So there is our first enemy at ZSU 57-2. They are very dangerous for this tank, and I actually crit him with my machine gun. But he has two gunners, so don't get fooled by that. But he gets taken out by a Sheridan. So we captured the point, and I actually loaded a the APHE shell, as it works better against this tank sometimes, as the heat shell. So I have the wrong shell in the barrel, but it doesn't matter, as a T10M sneaks by, which has, as it feels like, more mobility than I have, and he one-shots me. Well, bad things happen. So then I take out the P80, and I recently unlocked the rockets on it, and in this battle rating you see a lot of ZSU 57-2s and also enemy planes. So I can rocket a heavy tank, and I can machine gun down, open top vehicles. So let's find out how it turns out. Against plane 50 cals recently, I don't know. 50 cals get changed. It feels like every patch. One times you one-shot everything with it, then you're a flamethrower, then one belt is useless and the other belt is like godlike, and then you don't do any damage at all, and so on and so on. And there I see as a little thing, and I have an assumption that it is an ASU 57, and indeed it was it. Gunned it down. The armor on this thing is really bad, and it's open top, so he had no chance. And then I zoom climb and think to myself, well, now it's time to get rid of those rockets, isn't it? But I don't see any targets, or targets that I can, reliably rocket out of this dive. So, yeah, so I zoom through, get into a bit of a row, and then I see the marker, and he's dangerously close in the flank of our team, or a lot of teammates. So let's find out what it is. That was the T10M. Nice. It was not the same that killed me, obviously, but yeah. And then it's round about now where I heard the noise behind me. I looked and I saw that this is actually an IL-10. And those beasts can be fast coming out of a dive. And for 23 millimeters, nope. So I use the top speed of my jet, not maneuvering too hard, just a little bit. I had luck that I saw him early enough, or that he didn't cut closer into my flying path at the beginning, so I had the chance to get away. But you see, it takes actually a while to get away from a ground attacker in a jet. So yeah, and it was around about this when I realized that he pulled up, and I do the same. So I actually reverse the situation, because he stops the chasing, which is good for me, because it could have been much harder work to get out of that situation without him giving up. I mean, in the long term, yeah, I would have uh, been able to overcome the situation, but it takes too long. And this would have been a situation where a teammate would have been handy. Then I look around and I see him there. And a P8, he's avoiding a P80, he straightens out, and then he turns around and fire the guns. Yes. Actually, it was a mistake to fire on the fuselage. I would have been better off, firing at the wings. But hey, a kill is a kill, right? And then I mark this T10M again. I zoom through again. And this is actually the joy of chats, those zoom in boom paths, and where you actually get a feeling for the first time how good they are. And that's the next thing. Very often it is that when you get your first chat and you use it in realistic air battles, you face always hard competition. But as you could see in those chat matches, not everybody is using a chat fighter as well. And in this respect, I have to say, a lot of planes obviously fulfill different roles or have a much different value. I have no problem with the 82 Sky Raider in air RB battles. Oh, Napalm, please, not again the 82. Yeah, but a lot of people struggle with it, right? And I might do a video on it again. Can't promise it any time soon, but it's about how exactly I fly it and how I fly it and why I fly it the way I fly it, with all the mechanics explained. Hopefully I will find time to do so. The problem with such chats like this one is that you need a lot of gameplay to actually research the rockets, or for other chats, bombs, and then you can grind your way through other modules that will help you to get more performance for air RB. But while you do ground striking, you get a bad habit how to fly those planes, because you're not in the RB environment, or the RB plane environment. And there is an IL-28, and those are poor shots, but whatever. And I mark him, he smokes again. Again, I focus too much on the fuselage, but hey, I get away alive, that's a reward of its own when challenging IL-28s. And those beasts are really dangerous. They have bombs, good defensive and offensive armament, and they are not slow. And again, here you can see how I deal with this I-185. He zoom climbed me and I dive now away. I have to extend the distance between us, and then I can long the run. I can run faster in the long term. So in a normal prop plane, I would have tried to probably prop hang him, stall him out, and then reverse the situation. But here I'm having none of this business. A chat that is slow is a dead chat, because there could have been a second fighter that I've overlooked, or even a bomber like that EL-28 that would have sniped me out of the sky. But here I see that he's focusing on ground targets, and I'm reversing back. Now the other thing is, Andy crashes his plane. Some hits into him, just for fun. And there are two things that I want to mention. First of all, it's the point system. You can't get a plane from the very beginning. Even if you take a biplane into an 8.0 tank battle, I guess you can't take it, which is good. But at the same time, it would be nice, but we would end like in simulator battle, where Gaijin would address the problem with that you get bombed in the first minute of the game. On the other hand, the amount of points you get by, you know, shooting at tanks is insane. And I think that's it for this battle. Let's have a quick look at the post-battle result screens, where I come to my second point I want to discuss with you. So, for 1 aircraft and 2 destroyed ground units, I got 70,000 silver lines and 4,118 research points. So, and most of that went to my chat. Yeah. Then I also was first in team with 2,774 score points. And again, I have to say, you know, the reward for a realistic battle is not very good, at least for tanks. For aircraft, it's, you know, decent here in Combined Arms. And I think that's it for today. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Please like the video if you did, and subscribe if you want to see more. And see you next time on the battlefield.